to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, this time around in English, as you may already have noticed. And today we are going to have a look at 3 different games again, which will be Small Leg Jump, Monsters Impact and Line Water Glass. My name is Gerald, and as always I've got a couple of different things with me, which are, for instance, this Arc mouse, just a Bluetooth mouse, a special one which can be brought to different states here like this, but in the end it's a Bluetooth mouse. I'm of course using the Foldable keyboard, which is this keyboard here, Foldable, yeah, and it's Bluetooth enabled too, so we are going to connect it with Bluetooth, of course. And we could have the Xbox on this wireless controller in this mashup, but we are not going to use that because none of the games is going to use this and has support for it in this episode. So, additional to that, as already more or less everybody should know, we are using the Lumia 950 XL, in this case with a Mozo cover at the back. And this is a smartphone with Windows 10 Mobile on it, and it has a USB-C connector at the bottom here, as you can see. And the USB-C connector is connected to the display dock, which is standing at the side here, which is more or less just an USB-C connector or something, or a USB-C hub. And this one is connected to the TV in this case, and like this we can use the smartphone to bring us this more or less desktop-like experience on the big screen, but the smartphone is going to drive that. And if you want to know more about that and what Continuum is, because this is Continuum, and so on and so forth, please have a look at the corner up there. There you will find additional information about all of this and yeah, a little bit more. And yeah, then I would say let's have a look at the first game. The first game is called Small Leg Jump. It is a pretty nice game, nicely done and stuff like that, but I really can't play it, just to let you know. We are going to have a look at that. It's Small Leg Jump. For that I'm going to my all apps list in this case, going at this place here, and now I'm going to put in Small Leg Jump. And there we are. I'm going to turn around so at least I have some kind of a chance to do anything here. But again, I am really bad at it. There is a little bit of an input lag which is hitting in here. So if you are going to play this on the smartphone itself, that's much easier, I think. Let's turn down the volume a little bit with the Foldable keyboard in this case. There are these buttons for that on the keyboard. And yeah, in the end, what you are going to have to do is more or less, you have this little character here. There are different ones. The other ones have to be bought with the coins you're going to collect. You see, it's a lot of them. And in the end, we have this little ninja guy here. And what we need to do is we are going to jump from the different platforms, more or less, which are going to be moving and doing stuff and so on and so forth, and trying to survive as long as we can. And that can be done by just clicking, so you don't need anything else, you just need one click, and then the character will jump to the next platform or whatever it is called. And yeah, you really have to get rid of obstacles, of course, so just jump around them. And you, of course, should not fall into the void here, so be aware of that. As you can say, I am really bad at this. My best score till now is 4, and I'm just going to show you the game a couple of times, but I'm not going to be good at it, just to let you know. Okay, so let's start with the fun. I really think it's a nice game. I really like the design of it, the overall expression, the idea is nice and everything, the animations are fine, and but again, I'm just not good at it. So let's have a look at the options here. There's not much to see here. We have sound, of course, music, which can be turned off and on and stuff like that, but other than that there's not too much to look at. And then just tip on this blue bar here and it's going to start. And as you can see, first try and immediately died. So try it again. Go on. Oh, come on. And just to let you know, I have a big input lag here, so it's a little bit harder for me then, yeah, and there you see it again. Sometimes I even think that it's more or less impossible to do that, but you will have to judge about that. And if you, for instance, click one time in a wrong way or something, you're not going to have the time to correct that or something, you're just going to die. And they are always giving you this little nice image there, sometimes if there's an obstacle or something you're running against, of your death of course, and then it might be fun. In most situations it's just blue because you're going to fall into your death. Okay, so try it again. You see, I kind of like the game somehow. I don't know why. For instance, there are different obstacles, as you can already have seen there. There's this blue one. The blue ones are going to move in some direction, you don't know where. Sometimes they're helping you, sometimes, as in this version here, they're going to let you go to die. And there are of course some, as you already have seen, more or less in the skin tone color or whatever that is called, which are going to fall to the void and with you, of course, if you're not fast enough leaving them and stuff like that. It's nicely done. There are a couple of different iterations here. Okay. There, for instance, the red ones are moving too, but those are just obstacles. You can't jump on them. They are just there to annoy you, more or less. Oh, come on. Black ones are just static. And there you see it again. You really have to jump very, very fast then from the next platform there. And as I mentioned before, with the input lag I'm experiencing here, I really have a hard time playing this game. And there, for instance, we jumped against the block and stuff like that, and again, I really like it. I think it's a great game, especially if you are going to... Wow, I got two. Especially if you are going to play it on your smartphone itself without the input lag of the Bluetooth devices. That might be an option I could try. So, for instance, if I would put an USB-C connector, or not a USB-C connector, if I would use, for instance, a real mouse with a cable or with a wireless connection there instead of Bluetooth, that might be better. But we will see. Let's see if I can't go on a little bit better. Yeah. Not really. As you can see, there are these coins you can collect. In many situations they are very, very mean to you, so they are giving you the coin, but then you are going to die and you can't recover from that and stuff like that. It's really, really bad. And this is, for instance, something bad too. They are going to give you no option, more or less. So you really have to have jumped to one of the other platforms before, otherwise you're going to die. It's a little bit unfortunate. As mentioned before, I think it's a little bit too hard maybe, but if you're playing, for instance, how do you do that? I'm not sure. Maybe if I jump around so that it takes a longer time to go there or something, that might be the option there, I'm not sure. So, again, how should you do that? There is this black bar that you have to jump behind the black box there to the platform, and then you would have been able to overcome that, but that's that hard. Here, for instance, I would have to jump several times there to go to that place, and that's just too hard for me. Okay, so let me know what you achieve here. I'm really, really bad at the game. Again, I kind of like it. I kind of like the setup, so the whole experience here is nice in some ways, but with the input lag I'm experiencing here and the problem of not being able to figure out it fast enough what I have to do, I really am not good at this game. Okay, so let's go to a second game, because there's just not more to tell you about the game. The second game I want to show you is called Monster Impact. It's one of those games I'm really not sure what I should make out. In the end, it's a clicker game, so you're just going to click all over again and you are going to more or less level up to get more coins or whatever by clicking and stuff like that. give it a little bit of time, it's going to load. In the end, what you are going to do here is you are a monster slayer, and you are going to slay monsters, of course. And you can, for instance, level up to different states in which you are going to have bigger weapons and better weapons and stuff like that. And this is you, more or less. And on some kind of an alien planet or something, as you can see. And what's going to happen there is you are going to be able to create little friends, more or less a whole gang of fighters to fight against the monsters. The bad thing about it is that you can't move or something. I would have liked it if I could move around and hit the monsters then. But in the end, in this case, you are just standing there and hitting the monsters. And I will just show you what's going on here. It's a little bit of a pity because the whole game setups and the graphics are really, really fun, as you can see. And what you really have to do now is hit the monster. It's going to be done by clicking on the screen, and one additional thing, you're not going to die. So the monster is not going to attack you, you are the slayer. The monster is really just a friendly little guy that is standing around and taking hits from you, more or less. Okay, so as you can see, this is how it's done. Tap, 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 tap. And sooner or later, there are going to be those coins, and you should try to collect those coins with the mouse or the finger. Especially if you are going to be in a higher level, then you are going to get a lot of coins, of course. But at the start, you are just going to hit the different monsters here as hard as you can. Do not... now we have enough money to upgrade for once. Okay, open the hero panel, you can buy spells to boost your damage. Okay, so click on that, and now as you can see we can level up. There are different options here. I can't scroll at the moment because we're in the tutorial mode more or less. But there are different kind of actions in here. Get the money, as I told you. And there are different kinds of levels and different kinds of options to upgrade and stuff like that. I think I'm able to show you that now, so click on that. As you can see, we have a damage output of 2.21 at the moment, and we can of course buy the next one, for instance, to increase that. And that's more or less all that game is all about. There are going to be different other options like atomic hits and stuff like that, so harder hits and stuff like that. You are going to have different kind of other abilities. You are going to have different kinds of helpers, more or less, as you can see here. So from time to time you are going to go up against other monsters. Most often those other monsters are just the same but bigger with a little bit of different graphics and stuff like that. But of course you're going to get more money from it if you do that. And if you are really asking me why you are doing this, I don't know. In the end it's really just about clicking, going to hit as many monsters as you can. As you can see, up there is more or less a health bar of the current monster, which is going to fight against you in this case. And now you're just going to hit the other guys. Then there is a mini boss, for instance, like this one, a little bit bigger in general. And of course, after a while you are getting not only one coin at a time, if I'm clicking here, but two, and so on and so forth. There are going to be more and more coins you can collect from the different monsters. Of course, that is depending on what kind of different characters and stuff like that you have here. Let's go up a little. And I'm going to get that. After a while the coins are going to go to waste, so just try to collect them as fast as you can. And as you can see, it's going to be faster and faster all over the place. Sometimes if you go out, for instance, you are going to get more money. Before I have resetted it, I played this maybe 2 weeks before or something, and when I played that and then left it behind, it's going to generate money for you anyway, especially if you have small little helpers which are going to fight for you. Let's see if I can show you one of those, I'm not sure. There's going to be something like that. Yeah, if for instance that little guy comes around, try to hit him. And as you can see, there is for instance one of the helpers, so different ones available. Like for instance this little shadow guy, but there are some which are going to be standing on the platforms here. So after a while you're really having pretty powerful hits and stuff like that. So it's much easier to kill the monsters. Of course the monsters are going to be better and better too. As you can see, the health bar of the monsters is much bigger. If for instance you are not going to kill the monster in the given time, so you have 20 seconds at the moment to kill that one, then it might be bad for you. I'm not sure exactly why. I think it's only something you need to worry about if you're going to fight against the boss. And here you can see we can buy a new little helper. And that is a helper, he's going to fire at the monster here too. It takes many hits more or less before he's going to kill the monster. But you can of course update the helpers then too. And there are going to be different ones here additional to the ones we already see. So if you are going to a higher level, for instance, in another stage, you're going to have different other helpers here too. I think you can really more or less put as many more helpers on there as you can see there. And I think I should get a little bit of the money here, just to be able to update this sooner or later. There's another guy. Here's the boss again, bigger than the other guys there. What I really don't get is why he is not fighting back or something. That would be a good addition, I think. If for instance he is trying to fight you and you have to click on them, there are some power-ups from time to time, as you can see. Might be helpful, doesn't need to. I like the monster designs, don't know why. Okay, but as you can see, it's really going to be a little bit of an addiction you're going to go through here, because I can click and click and I don't know why I'm clicking, but it's somehow fun. So let's go out here. Oh, I only made it small, I want to close it really. Okay, and otherwise we're going to have a look at that for a couple of hours probably. Let's have a look at the last game in our lineup before I'm going to waste too much time in this kind of game. The last game is much more intelligent. It's called Line Water Glass. I'm going to show you what's going on there. More or less it's a painting game where you will have to more or less navigate water around or something like that. So guide water to a water glass in the end. That's the thing you're going to do. This is a water glass and you're going to have to guide the water by drawing lines. And there is going to be a lot of physics involved. So the line itself is a physics object which has to be put on different kind of places there. There are some obstacles which are going to hinder you and some which are going to help you. And as you can see there, you are going to get a star leveling or mark for each and every level, and there are a couple of them. And let's have a look at, for instance, 70, why not? So as you can see, we have this little guy here. The interesting part about it is that, for instance, this 100% is more or less your ink. So you get 3 stars if you can solve the puzzle more or less. Before the ink is going to run out to this point, and after that 2, and after that 1, and then you're going to lose more or less. And so let's have a look what we have to do here. As you can see, we have this kind of obstacles, so those 2 are more or less static objects. Everything else is going, or this one is static too, but the drawn line you're going to draw, and for instance the water glass itself is going to fall down. So let's see if we can solve this. If it's too hard, we're not going to do that. But as you can see, there's a problem. If, for instance, you're trying to go through one of the objects here, it's not going to work out in a good fashion. I am using one of my little tricks I figured out, but as you can see, those are not that effective based on the star, for instance. So if you want to go to 3 stars, you will have to do it differently. And yeah, let's see what we can do. If, for instance, this kind of water release is going to be put in this direction or this way, then you might have to do it a little bit different. We will see. Let's see what we can do. As you can see, you can't paint through... Ooh, not sure if this is going to work. Oh, okay, worked pretty good. You can't paint through the static objects. Sometimes they didn't think about different things, I think at least. In some situations the levels are very easy. In some situations they are pretty hard, if you ask me. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, and as you can see, you can lose some kind of some water, but you have to go to this line on the glass, and if you more or less hit the line with one of the particles, and it's down below, of course, on other particles, then everything is fine and the water is filled up to the right amount, and you are going to get that kind of stuff. This is interesting. I don't know about that guy. Let's see what that is going to do to us. Maybe I'm just going to draw a line here. Ah, okay. Probably he would have fallen down and kicked my glass around or something. Let's try it out just to find out what that is all about. So if, for instance, I'm just drawing something here. Okay, he is going to block the entry of my glass, and so it's not going to work out anymore. Okay, so all we have to do now is here to bring him to another side, for instance. Okay, didn't work, of course, because it's all falling down, as I mentioned before. So what we really have to do is we have to block him away, and then we should be able to go to the next level. Of course, if you, for instance, want to restart, or if you want to go to home or something, click on the button up there. Here is another interesting part. Okay, that was a bad try by me. Let's try it again. That might work. Yeah, and the important thing is you can only draw one line. So you can't, for instance, draw one line and put another line then in or something. It's going to water, or the water is going to fall the moment you are leaving the mouse button. So be aware of that, try this. And yeah, you can play a lot of different levels with this. I really like the different parts here. This is probably a pretty hard one, if you ask me. Because if water is falling next to it and the big guy is coming, then this might result in a lot of trouble. Let's see. I would have to block this, but keep in mind, it's going to fall down by itself too. Yeah. Okay, didn't work. Let's see what we can do against it. It's pretty hard already, if you ask me. Maybe if I... No. Yeah, with a lot of luck. So I hindered... No, doesn't work. If the glass is falling down, then I'm going to die too. So let's see what we can do here. Of course I could, for instance, draw a line like this, but this is going to really cost me a lot of my drawing power. So this is not a good solution. But let's take it like that. But again, not a good solution. Should be done in a different way, which is more effective, hopefully. That one was okay. Yeah, and as you can see, there are a lot of different levels you're going to solve here, and all of them are more or less the same kind of puzzle starting or something. And you really have to think about where to draw the line, how to draw the line, and yeah, more or less predict how the gravity is going to work. And that's a pretty nice one, a little bit of an intelligent one if you ask me. I really like the game, try it out. Yeah, and that more or less concludes the episode for this week. I hope you had a little bit of fun with the games, and that some of them are more or less something you would like to try out. If so, please put a comment down below in the comment section if you liked one. And of course, if you, for instance, have a big high score or something, you might want to put it in the commentary too. Other than that, please leave a like button, and of course subscribe if you want to know more about all the different Continuum games and you want to be informed more or less. If there is a new video by me, then you might want to have click on the bell button too. And other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. We are going to see us in the next episode again. Hope you had fun with it, and see you. Bye bye, and have a great week. Bye.